Hi, thank you for stopping by to watch my video. My name is Beth Ann of Beth Ann Stamps, and today we're looking at Waves of Inspiration. This stamp set bundle became available on March 1st, yesterday. And while this is an early release from the upcoming annual catalog, some of the items in the bundle, in the suite, are only available while supplies last. So I wanted to bring in some of the gorgeous paper to go with this. And you really have to see the full sheets to appreciate these colors. I just think these are so gorgeous. Look at the bubbles and the colors. And you're really looking at colors here of Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana. We'll see some of those on the other side. Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green, Night of Navy, Pacific Point, and also a little bit of Petal Pink. So here's where you'll see some more of those. Let's look at the other side of these papers. Now tonight I'm not using this beautiful designer series pattern paper, but I wanted you to see those because I think they are just absolutely stunning. I'm hoping that the colors are coming through. And then in addition to that, now I'm going to try not to get too much of a glare, but there is also a foil. We have the standard silver, and then we have this gorgeous Night of Navy and Coastal Cabana foils. We are going to be using some of this Coastal Cabana foil today. And then there are some gems, some rhinestone basic jewels, again, and those beautiful blues. Okay, let's take a look at this. The stamp set, you know, I don't typically go for beach and water and all of those. You won't see me do a lot of them. But this one, I just loved this wave. And we got the little pelican here on the pylons. And then our friendship is a thing of beauty. You're so totally awesome. Your strength is an inspiration. Happy birthday. And then a little bird. And then the dies that go with this, there's some for your sentiments. Here's some for the waves and some little pieces that cut out and the birds, the pelican, and then some clouds. So let's go ahead. We're going to make this card today. Now, you will see here that we're going to use, oh, I take it back. We are using some of the designer series paper. I forgot that I used one of the wave dies and then also on the foils. So we will see those, and we're using Your Strength as an inspiration. And then we have the inside of the card. So let's go ahead and get started. My base is cut 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I did do the inside of the card. I really carried it over, but we'll talk about this a little as I'm stamping the other. I made this very light, so when I come in here to write my message, I can even write on top of this and it won't interfere. But I just wanted to carry it over inside. Sometimes I feel like blank isn't good for me. Some of my cards are, they'll just have a sentiment inside with a little corner, but this one I really wanted to carry it through to the inside. So we are going to have our first layer here, and I'll go ahead and glue that down. This is cut 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, if I can get my glue to work. Well, it wants to be stubborn today. I think I'm almost empty. Let me see if I can find a tape runner instead. Let's do that. I'm getting ready for a stamp camp, so all my stuff is packed up for that. So we'll just go with the tape runner. All right, so we're going to get this in place. All right, so there's our card base. This is the Coastal Cabana. So we're just going to set that off to the side. And I am going to bring in the Stamparatus to do my stamping on this. I've already got my 4 by 5 1/4 in here ready to stamp, and I have my wave stamp on here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it in Coastal Cabana. So let's ink this up. Now this is one of those detailed stamps, so you will see it hits in certain areas. So we have that. All right, so we're going to stamp that. I'm going to rub it on. Take a look. I like that we can use the Stamparatus for this. Oh, how pretty. So now I am going to clean off my stamp as soon as I remember where I hid my baby wipe. We will just grab a new one. Okay, so I'm going to clean this off, but I'm not going to remove the stamp because I want to add some texture here. So in order to do that texture, I'm going to bring in some Night of Navy. Let me just hit this with a paper towel to make sure we're pretty dry. So I'm going to close this one up. Now, I did the same thing on the inside, but what I did, I started with Coastal Cabana, but I stamped off, and then I stamped on my card so that it was very light, and I didn't put a lot of pressure on it when I was rubbing over it, because I want that very pale look. So this would be that stamped off image. All right, so now I'm going to bring this Night of Navy in, and I'm going to bring in a sponge dauber. You can see I've been playing with a lot of blues and greens today. So, and I'm just going to put this in a few spaces along here. You don't want to go real heavy. You can always add more, but you can't take away. Rub lightly there. Come on. There we go. See, I'm seeing some of the blue come in here. I think I want a little more. I may have hit a little too much. So let me... There we go. Now I've got that dark in here. So now I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to clean off my stamp. And this time I'm going to bring in the Granny Apple Green. I love how these colors look together on that pattern paper. It helps for me when I put a stamp pad underneath here. It seems to be the right height to give me some support when I want to put ink on the stamp. So again, just hit in a few places, get some color in there. Let's take a look at what we got. That's looking good. I'm going to put a little more green in. It's very subtle. Rub that in. There we go. Hopefully that's showing up. So while this is still in here, I want to sponge my background. I really think this sort of looks like a stormy sky. These colors are the same colors I just stamped with. So hopefully that's showing up. All right, so I'm going to bring in some brushes. I'm going to start with my Coastal Cabana. Pick that up. I'm just going to sponge around. And I'm going to bring in Night of Navy. Rub any ink off of there. That Night of Navy gives those swirls, and I like that look. Sort of looks like the sky over the ocean is churning up. Now I'm going to bring in some Granny Apple Green. And again, I'm just going to a little bit of that. And then I'm going to go back, clean this off. I sometimes even take a baby wipe when I'm going from a dark color. off here. There's a Coastal Cabana underneath that. I got a lot of ink. I've been playing a lot today. Just go back in with a little bit of that. There we go. That looks good for me. Move this out of our way. I'm going to close up Coastal Cabana in Granny Apple Green. And I'm going to bring in Night of Navy. And I'm going to bring in the stamp of the little bird. And I'm just going to place a few of those around. Those seagulls. As many or as little as you like. There we go. Okay, so now that we have our card, I'm liking how that looks. Now we're going to bring in the die cut pieces. This is one that I did cut out of the Designer Series paper that has those same colors. Night of Navy, it has some Pacific Point, some Coastal Cabana, and that Granny Apple Green. So we're going to bring this in here. And this is the first one I'm going to put down. Now, you could put sticky paper on the back of this before you run it through the die cuts, but I just ran it through, and then I put some of my glue into one of these little bottles with that teeny tiny tip on it so that I have a little more control over where my glue is going. There we go. Get some tiny dots. And then I'm just going to line this up. And put that down on the paper. So that just adds an extra layer of texture to what we've already stamped. I wanted it to be down further on the bottom, but that's okay. We are good there. Put a little dab of glue right there. Okay. There are also these little tiny pieces that you can cut out. I cut these out of the blue Night of Navy foil. I'm going to also use these, but I want to lay this one over. I did this other one out of, you'll see this one has a rounded edge, where this one has a little more, it comes up higher. So I'm putting this one on last. And then it'll just lay over top. You can put these on before that or after that. I'm going to, for highlight, or you can leave them off altogether. You know, I always say it's always personal preference and what you want to do. It's your card. What makes you happy? I just love these papers. All right, we'll get that along the bottom. I need a little dab right here. It's sticking to my fingers. There we go. I have a little glue dot on the back of my card where it was holding on to the Stamparatus. So there we go. Now I am going to bring these in. They're just little like wave toppers, I guess, or more dimension to your waves. They are tiny. So I'm just going to come in here. You put them up. There we go. And then we'll get this other one in. It's up to you if you want to use those or not. Oh, come on, stick for me. They want to stick to my finger. Let me see if I put the ink pad on top of that. There we go. All right. So I'm going to take this and put it down on our card. Find my tape runner. I'll get this centered on here. There we go. Now all we need is our sentiment. That is another one of the dies out of the set. And I am going to pop this up with dimensionals. I've already stamped it, and I did stamp it in Night of Navy. Oh, some little tiny ones here on the edge. Hold those up. You could also run ribbon through here underneath and out the other side. And then I am going to bring in our rhinestones. This was a quick card this week. But I think it's so pretty, and the fact is that the stamps and the paper do all of the work for you. I'm going to take a few little gems and put them down in the waves. Get a green one in there. There we go. And that's our card. Your strength is an inspiration. And then inside again, that lighter stamping. So those are our cards this week. I did make another card without the wave, just working with the designer series paper. I think this would make a good masculine card. So it's just a couple layers. It was off of a card sketch. And so our friendship is a thing of beauty. And blank on the inside. Again, I brought that same paper in. So you have a lot of options with this stamp set. And I just think you cannot go wrong with these sentiments. I hope you like that. I will have a link in the description below that will take you to the coordinating blog. Though there's not a lot to remember with this one, but the measurements will be over there, so you didn't have to worry about writing them down. There's also a link to my website for shopping. This will, like I said, this will be available. It's an early release for the stamp set and dies, but the paper is only while supplies last. So, and if you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to help you with that. Please reach out to me. And as always, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch my videos. Please give me a thumbs up and hit that notification bell so you get notified as these are posted. Thank you, and have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.